Hi everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. Welcome to my altar temple room, where the magic often happens and where the work and mundane of my everyday human life experience happens. So, we have not been in this room for a bit, and it's getting warmer. And since my big loaf sleeping cats are asleep on the couch and taking up a good half of the couch, it is brought to here, which is wonderful. So this is again an energetic reading, maybe divinatory and maybe also predictive, but it's guidance to help this collective and whom this may resonate with to have an effective, empowered week, experience, recognized in our human life world, no matter how our day-to-day experiences are, whether we're men, women, how we identify, what our lives look like, our ages, our past, whether they are as practitioners like myself, magicians, witches, just being humans, spiritual beings, and all of the above. And no matter how we embrace or how we present and face this day to day in this ever changing world, that the only certainty there is uncertainty and change, often in the wrong direction, as we're saying, and often things are regressing and digressing. That does not mean that we have to fully do that in our own experiences. So this is just to help. This is a message from the powers that be, what I work with and walk with, and my intuitive guidance and collection that I have to offer. And I have faith that this reaches whom it's meant to and how in an unfavorable world full of logarithms, AI, and favorabilities. That takes away from the human life experience. That also goes with one of the messages here. How does things suffocate us? How does the world and outside and others affect us in our inner world and what suffocates us? So I just want to bring up here this beautiful candle I decided to start burning today. Number One Crush, which was a gorgeous, it's a limited time from candle from my favorite Witch City Wicks from Salem. It was a lovely gift sent by my cousin. Number One Crush, the garbage song. If you're not aware of it, look it up. It is beautiful and dark and emotional. A great song for relationships, lust, experience, heartbreak, longing of life, desire, and 90s alternative like the scale is as I was a teenager. The scents are quite lusty and fabulous and enriching. So I thought I would bring that up as scent, of course, fumitories are a major part of my practice as a sensory experiences. Even with the eyesight I have that and hearing impairments I have, I still use those senses, and of course the scents and the flame help to aid that even more, so enhance the ritual and human life experience. My videos often get rambly, but that's part of the message. All those little nuggets. Now this might be a weekly message, but this, if you stumble upon this at another time, it may hold a nugget or nuggets of wisdom for you. I often find that these and others tell me that they have timeless messages. So with that being said, I have already pulled cards for this week once again. And so here's the message. Here's what to be mindful and aware of and discern to have an effective, empowered week under the best we can. Energies are often changing and often heavy at present. But there's, again, things can change moment to moment, day to day. Remember that. We're all just humans living in this experience and trying to live and survive and be the best versions of ourselves and magic and magicians and spiritual beings and just being, as I said, a good human as best as we can in our circumstances. The crystal that stepped forth this week is Crocodile Jasper. So this has come up in the previous months, but it's been a bit. So Crocodile Jasper or Crocodile Jasper, due to its aesthetic and due to the spotting on it, of course, but it's a jasper. So the message and guidance of Crocodile Jasper or Crocodile Jasper, the formal name, is like crocodile. So this week, the guidance of this and what it wants the collective to know, this crystal, the energies of this crystal, and what you can carry and embody. Even if you don't have it, this crystal in your collection or toolkit does not mean that you cannot embrace the guidance of this in your experience. That's all it is experience and using what's at your fingertips at that moment. So that's Crocodile Jasper is saying in the Crocodile, it will be more of a heavier week. Today, for if you are in many parts of the world, then it's Easter. Zombie Jesus Day, if you have a sense of humor like myself and many others. But it's also a day where, because of the religions, if you're watching this, you may be a practitioner of sorts or more open and mindful and aware. Your experience might be full of more enlightenment perspectives or occultism or all of the above. You may have suffered, much like one of the cards that comes up, difficulties. This day, this week, this overall experience may rehash things from childhood, from past, and oppressions. It is saying, like the crocodile, swim through the waters carefully, mindfully, but also before the predator gets you, be the predator. That doesn't mean attack others or be overly defensive. It's having guile. This Crocodile Jasper is guiding this week. We need to have guile, cleverness, resourcefulness, stay grounded in an ever-changing world. Energies are being very present this week to be very heavy. But if we swim through that and look at things with discernment, and maybe standing in and moving through with our own presence and assuredness, this will help to ground us. This crystal is going to help ground us in our presence and have that clever and guile through the difficult experiences. So stay grounded, stay present, be mindful and aware, and swim and move through the day-to-day experiences, emotions, and as the past goes into the present and is transmuting into the future. This collective is very much, your energies are constantly, as I'm part of this too, is constantly aware and constantly faced with the past and the present and how it weaves into our future. But as been advised, it's continuing to move through the circumstances, face them, allowing them, processing, and letting go, and transforming and transmuting the energies. As energy never dies, it becomes something else. Everything becomes something else, whether purposely or forcefully. And with that being said, the readings for the cards this week that pulled out centrally, or I pulled out centrally, whatever, but it's about the message, isn't it? So it's from Volatile, one of my favorite beautiful decks. I consider her she's very alchemical, but she's very, she has that artwork that is so intricate and so interwoven and of classical and times of past, but always relevant, very soulful and very left-hand path, if you're like myself in that. And that marries into your day-to-day and mundane experiences, that theological, that logical, that awareness, that different perspective and perceptions on things, a different take on things that others often do not have. And that is a gift. That is the strength. With that becomes constant transformation, constant being able to do the best you can to become adaptable, like the crocodile is, to their environment and circumstances, sometimes in harsh environments they're in. We're all in harsh environments, but we make the best of it. And pointedly, the two central cards of this reading this week, one of the alternates of death. Yes, death is the central theme. That's why I said transformation and transmutation, not necessarily physical death. There is physical death ever present in our lives and in our world and what we see, and changes and things that must come to be, that come to an end. The reaper, so they say. But don't fear the reaper. Do not fear change. This collective is aware of the changes in the world, in their day-to-day experience and what they see and the others they come across, the politics, the religion, the finances, the home, the health issues, those around us coming and going in our relationships, our perspective and paths changing and converging, and what we need to let go of old habits and old truths. This is going to be a big shift this week as part of the thing that energies that have already been shifting for this collective, but even more so this week. The central energies of this is be prepared to embrace change or you will be forced to change. The tower is not here, but truth is. That's the complementary or second card. That death was a volunteer. It was a jumper on that. So it was a volunteer for the message, as was I was guided to pull from the bottom of the deck truth. Now, this is an alternate card, but I'm going to read it as it is, as truth. Looking at the truth is harsh and painful, often looking at what has to be let go and what's dying, and old versions of ourselves, old versions of our relationships, memories, habits, things that have been ingrained into us, expectations that were never met or fulfilled, what we know may be coming to be, and not getting overwhelmed with it. What is the truth? What is your truth? This is being asked. What is the truth that you have learned and continuing to learn? What hard truths can you embrace and face, like death, to bring about what you need to this week to lay the foundation for the foreseeable future? That's all we have is a foreseeable future, the day-to-day. Nothing is ever guaranteed, like death and like uncertainty of life. However, what is true? What is truth? What is your truth of your life and what you want to accomplish this week overall? What is your enlightenment and what have you learned from the past several weeks, months, years, or throughout your whole life? And you can tie in that helps you to embrace your transformation in that which must end and become something new and to make space something new. This week's an integral part, just like the past couple weeks have, foundations of that new tower, that new life experience, whether you're 20 or whether you're 75. No matter you're a man, you're a woman, you're transitional. It's all the same. We're all humans here. And with that being said, with the holidays, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, and with expectations and others and things that, whether it's politics, learning, experiences, how others wanted us to be or still expect us to be, even if we're our own, those voices in our head, life itself and the outside world, in our own inner world, suffocation. So society has suffocation. Religion itself has suffocation. Now, religion is great, but being spiritual, you can kind of traverse everything. You need to have your own path to traverse the world, the path, the day to day, the minute to minute, the reality of life. Being part of a reality that's often difficult, a human life experience, the world and humanity, and being part of that and being more mindful and aware and connected to things beyond the obvious, this collective is, this can be often suffocating and sometimes feel like a cross to bear. It can be more painful. You kind of see the ignorance. You kind of see more, and you have more transparency and truth. Don't let conventions and the lack of or others push you down and continue to suffocate you. Continue to do the best to liberate yourself and rebuild your life, your experiences, and towers. Recognize the past, but embrace the future. The present and the future is all we have. The past is what is, but it's what's yet to come to be. And this is where you need to be. Recognize the cup runneth over. Do you have in abundance this week? That's where the truth comes in too. What do you need to realize that you do have a lot of resources and blessings that have come and are coming, and blessings that no longer need to be in your life or crutches, but becoming new? What can help you to have your cup runneth over despite heavy energies, emotions, and perspectives, and that which is falling away and being going to be transmuted and reborn into something new? What is that you can make that runneth your cup over with emotions, joy, the resources that you have, and what you want to build and become? How can you honor your relationships? How can you honor your past? How can you integrate that into the present and the foreseeable future? How can you help someone else's cup runneth over by being a support, listening, bringing laughter, joy, your own true self and integrity? It's all about how can you provide for yourself, and that's what truly matters, and being connected and being having a clear perception and perspective. Those feelings, those emotions, those little things that fill our cups and fill each other's cups, and they're interconnected. Just because we don't everyone else, you're not meant to be everyone's cup of tea, and you're not meant to make everyone feel that way. Everybody should be working on themselves and focusing on themselves and not everyone else's, or making everyone be what they want them to be, or expectations. So fill your cup, have your cup runneth over with your own reality and making life the way you need it to be, that helps you to have an effective, empowered week this week. And with that being said, closing message is reconnect with yourself from the haunted manor. So, yes, what are you hiding? What are you seeking? What do you need to see? What do you need to acknowledge? And bring into consciousness, awareness, and transition throughout the changes and uncertainty of life. This week will bring a lot of truth, a lot of illumination, and a lot of liberation. You can put the past to rest and clear it out. You can integrate into the present and continue to build your future. No matter what that may be, whether and just focus on the day to day and this week. And with that being said, if this message resonates, please like and comment and subscribe, as in the unfavorable algorithm, that's what our world and this channel and this message needs to reach others. Just as others reach me, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. And what others find favorable. But find yourself favorable and what actually is favorable through truth and wisdom and discernment. And as always, thanks for watching and stay strange.